Hello, a quick check-in with Canto 7, I believe, 7 of Orlando Furioso, where Ruggiero, who has been carried away to an island, he's been warned by a myrtle bush that used to be a great chivalric knight that there is a witch on the island, Alcina, who it bewitches men. And he thought, like, when he fell in love with her, he was the only one. It turned out there's been a lot of men, and what she does is she once she's kind of done with them and she wants to move on, she turns the original guy into a tree of some sort. This guy got turned into a myrtle bush, and he's just like, I'm gonna tell you the story, maybe it'll help, maybe it'll help. He comes out, he has to battle a giantess sitting on a wolf, on a giant wolf. um but he defeats the giantess. The woman who asked him to defeat him says, "Oh, don't kill him, don't kill her." And they bring her into the city where he meets Alcina, and there is a long description of just exactly how hot and gorgeous Alcina is. And he basically falls in love. He figures, oh, that knight that got turned into a myrtle tree, he must have just been an evil bastard who was bent on revenge, and that's why he filled me with such nonsense lies. Um, the narrator makes a point of saying, like, oh, and Alcina blotted out his memory of Barante, of his other love, so he wasn't being inconstant because the witch had pulled away his original amorous feelings, and now he only feels amorous for her. And then they come in to have a feast, which was it's a sumptuous feast. And this isn't the good thing about I'm only reading 20 of the stanzas today. I'm going to kind of break it up slower so I don't get too far ahead of Tom at LA Books as he's doing his video by video thing. But there's a line here that we get yet another reference to Jupiter and Ganymede, which, yeah, what sumptuous board to feast a victory, such was as held by the monarch of Assyria, or Cleopatra offered Anthony, was ever more elaborate or merrier than this Alcina caused the knight to see on entering her palace's interior. I do not think that such a feast indeed was served to Jupiter by Ganymede. And we've had references in the past already about Jupiter and Ganymede. And this is a myth where the very, very, very good looking youth Ganymede was snatched up by an eagle, or snatched up just by Jupiter or Zeus, and carried to Mount Olympus to serve as Zeus or Jupiter's cupbearer. And this has been taken as a mythic depiction of it's not, I don't know, pederasty. It's basically a sexual relationship between an older man and a young guy, boy or young guy, in myth. And it's interesting that Ruggiero has been swept up, has been caught up by the hippogriff and carried off, and we're yet again we're getting this thing of Ruggiero being apparently really beautiful, and him getting kind of Ruggiero and Ganymede being put together, though there has not been at least any illusions that I could see so far of there being a love match that is a male on male. It's all been female. This Alcina female, unless it's like Atlante, and him snatching up Ruggiero is considered that, oh, I love this youth so much, I don't want him to die, because apparently he's going to, if the prophecy is he'll get married, turn Christian, and then he will die shortly afterwards. So this is the way of Atlante Atlas trying to prevent this from happening. So yeah, I just thought I'd stop and like just make a little note of that whole thing. Of we keep on getting we've had a couple of references now to Jupiter and Ganymede, that particular myth, and it's like, oh, okay, to be aware of what's behind it is a good thing. Most likely Tom will mention it, and if he doesn't, I'll say, oh, what about that? What about that? I've been doing my homework, teacher. Aren't I a good student? Yeah. Something like that. All right. I will leave it there. More videos later.